everyone. Hello and welcome. It's Liz here over on Annie's Facebook page. And if you are just joining me, welcome. I'm Liz. I do this every Friday on Annie's Facebook page. So we chat a little bit and then we do a fun crochet tutorial, and I have a new one for you every week. So as my friends pop on, say hello in the chat and let me know where you are joining from, what your name is, and you can even let me know what you're working on. I just recently moved, so I am joining you from Kentucky. We are usually living in Florida, and we just moved recently because my husband got a transfer. So hello to everyone who is in Kentucky, and hello to everyone who's in Florida too. So I see some friends popping on. I have my friend Erica, and Sybil is here, and Susanna is here, and Kim is here. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me. Today I have a really fun crochet tutorial. We are going to do JAYgo. So say in the comments, give me a thumbs up or a heart if you have heard of JAYgo, if you know how to do it, or if you've well, give me a heart if you know how to do it. If not, then you're gonna have a really fun time today because I'm gonna show you how to do it. So JAYgo, there's Lou's here, and Catherine's here, and Ruth is here. Hi guys, Esther's here. Hello friends. Jillian is here. So if you've never heard of JAYgo, it stands for Join As You Go, and I am going to show you how to do it with granny squares. So this technique, it's basically just a technique of joining your granny squares together without having to seam them or sew them with a whip stitch or any kind of stitch. You won't have to use your yarn needle at all. So Lily's here and Wilma's here, Bobby's here. Hello, thank you for joining me. Sancha's here and Debbie's here. And if you're telling me where you're from, I can't see it in the comments. So I don't know if Facebook is doing something crazy, but I see your name. So thank you for joining me. Charlotte and Julie and Deanna and Daisy are here. So I love to see, even though I can't see your smiling faces, I love to see the names of who's joining me today. We're doing Join As You Go. And I'm going to just quickly tell you where the pattern that I'm using today is from Annie's Creative Studio, okay? This is a granny square Christmas Afghan. So you've got the whole class, the whole pattern and everything like that on Annie's Creative Studio. So if you're not a member, we put all the information in the description so you can link there, and you can always get a free 15-day trial. And Annie's has hundreds of classes on Annie's Creative Studio, and this is one of them. So we're going to talk about granny squares today. In this pattern, they actually seamed them together, but just to be a little different, I'm going to show you how to join them as you go rather than seaming them. So I see I've got Ann's here, Deb's here, Jenny's here, and Sylvia's here. Give me some hearts if you are excited about learning Join As You Go. I can't say, oh, okay, there we go. There's some hearts. Billy's here, and Jane is here. Okay, I want to make sure I can see everybody's able to give me hearts and thumbs up to learn Join As You Go. And Laverne is here, Cassandra's here, Sylvia is here. Okay, before I jump in, I'm going to move my phone. I just want to tell you what I'm using. I'm using my 5mm hook. This is the one I usually always use because it just works with my worsted weight yarn. And then I'll just need a pair of scissors. And we're going to start with the top square, and then we're going to join the next one on the side, and then another one on the bottom, and then another one. So we're basically going to join it kind of around. So we're joining 4 squares today. Let me move my phone so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. And as you're jumping on, please let me know your name, where you're joining from. I know you're going to be excited about this tutorial because this is a fun one. And I've got everything set up here so I can make sure I'm showing you how to do this the right way, because we have to join these strategically, okay? It's a little bit of a strategy you have to have. So the pattern calls for these granny squares, which are very basic granny squares. It looks just like this. So this is going to be your basic granny square, okay? We all know how to do that. You've got your corners and your 3 double crochet shells around. So the pattern has 4 rounds of these shells or grannies. For the first square, I made 5 rounds because we're going to join the other squares here. So each square in the end is going to have 5 rounds, but it's really just like the square and then the join round. So you start with 5 rounds. So you can make your basic granny square with 5 rounds, and I'll show you how to do a granny square, but after, if anybody wants me to, but I want to get right to the joining first because this is something that maybe you haven't done before, so I want to show you how to do it. From my second square, let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. For my second, I can't. For my second square, this is what I did. I started my round. So I'm going to add my last color, which is going to be like the border color. And I start right here, not in the corner, but I start right here with a join. So I'm going to show you how to do that just in case you don't know how to do a standing double crochet join, because that's what we're going to use for these squares. Take my little notes off here. So a standing double crochet, you start with your slip knot on your hook, and you're going to do a yarn over. And we're going to go right into the chain 1 space. And then you're going to yarn over again, and you should have your 3 loops on your hook. You might have to just cinch it with your finger. And then yarn over once and yarn over twice. So that just makes a double crochet right there that you can start with without having to slip stitch and then chain up 3. So I'm so happy that people are watching. I have Sierra's here, Letty's here, Lori, Susan, and Nancy and Helene, and Genevieve is here. So hopefully, I can't see any comments though, so I just see everybody's names. But if you have a question, go ahead and put it in the comment. I'll see if I can get it. So now we've done our first double crochet. So now we just have to do 2 more double crochets into that chain 1 space. So that's 1 and 2. And then we're going to do a chain 1. So each of these has a chain 1 in between. And then 1, 2, and 3. So it's just your standard granny. And then once we get to the corner, that's where we're going to start our join. So we're going to join the corners to the corners. And this join as you go is really nice for things like this where you have this space in between where it's harder to sew. So we have a nice straight edge, but all these spaces is where we're going to join. So here's our first block. We're going to join block number 2 to block number 1. So the current one that I have is number 2, right? Let's just call it number 2. And we're going to start with the first part of the corner. So the first part of the corner is 1, 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets. So we're going to do chain 1, and then I'm just going to take my hook off and leave that loop there. And then I'm going to come into the one I'm joining right here. So go in from top to bottom and grab that loop. Pull it through. And then you might have to move it a little bit to get back and finish your corner. So now we're just going to finish the corner with 1, 2, and 3 double crochets. So now we've joined that corner. Now we're working along this way, so I'm just going to move it a little bit. So now we have a chain 1 and then the shells, okay? So chain 1, grab that chain. So take your hook off and grab the loop just so you don't lose it, and then go into the chain space from the one you're joining to the current one and pull that loop through. Now we don't have to chain 1 again because we only have a chain 1 in these spaces. The chain 2s are only in the corner. And then you just work the 3 double crochets along your your working square, the one you're working on. Chain 1, drop the loop, go into the next space from top to bottom or front to back, pull it through, and then work your next shell, which is just the 3 double crochets. Chain 1, see, and we just do that all the way across. And I see lots of people watching, but I don't see any comments. So so I apologize if I can't see if you're asking me anything, but I'll try to be real clear and slow here so you can see what I'm doing. And as you can see, those are joined nicely. They're nice and flat. You don't have like a bulge or anything. Okay, so now I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to go to our last space here, grab that loop, and now we're going to go into the corner of the working one, and we're going to work the first part of the corner. So the first part is 1, 2, 3 double crochets. And remember, it's a chain 2, so I'm going to start with a 1 chain, take my hook off there, and now we're going to grab this corner. So we're going corner to corner, pull that through, and then do another chain because the corner has 2 chains. So only in the corner we do 2 chains. And then just turn it. So now we're going to work along this edge. Now we have to finish that corner. So 1, 2, and 3. See, so we did here, and now we're going to complete, because we have 5 rounds on this one, so we just have to complete the 5th round around this square. So did I do mine? Don't forget to do your chain 1 in between. So Charlotte says, I have a problem with the first, Laretha says, I have a problem not with the first squares, but the ones that come after that. Oh, okay, don't worry, I'm gonna show you the ones that come after that. I'm gonna show you all 4 of them. So that way you can see, because they are different. It's not like once you do the first one, the other one's exactly the same. You have to be strategic about, because you're sort of starting your border, but your borders are, like, for example, the first one, you only work like 1 side of the border. Then the second one, you work 3 sides of the border. And then the next one, you work 2 sides of the border. So you have to really be strategic about how much border you start and finish, because part of the border is joined together and part of the border is not. So you see, like this part, I'm not joining, I'm just completing the border. So here's my corner. 2, 1, 2, 3. There's my friend Frances, and Frances says, I was just doing a test with JAYgo. Oh, good. So this is appropriate today, huh, Frances? So I can see a few comments, but I am having a little trouble with the comments, just so you know. So I'm not ignoring you, I promise. Hopefully some of them will pop up. But we are going slowly, and I'm gonna really try to show you each of these steps, step by step, so you can get this. And you know, you can always watch the replays too. We always have all of my live videos over on Annie's Facebook page. So now I'm just completing all the way around with this border. And remember, the corners, we have 2 chains. See, now I've gotten right back to where I started, and we joined these 2 here. So then all I have to do is do my last chain 1, which I did, and then you're just going to join those with like a slip stitch join or however you want to join them. So now you've got the whole border for the second square. And I'm just going to tie it in a knot. I know we don't usually knot, but this is just for the tutorial, so I can do this quickly. But normally you would weave in your ends nice and clean so you don't have any knots like that. Oh, and I forgot my corner. So you see I didn't work the rest of this corner, but when you do it, you should have a corner. So 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochet, all in that same space. But that's okay, you know to do that. Okay, so here's the join that we have so far. This is my first square here. This is the one we started with, and this is the one we joined. And as you can see, it's nice and clean on the back and on the front. It doesn't make any sort of bumps or anything like that. So it's really a good method. Now we're going to join the next one. So I see that Carrie's here, Sharon is here, Olivia's here, Donna is here, Zakira is here, and Vicky. Hello, hello everyone. Thank you for joining me. Now let me show you what I did here. I started this one over here. So I started with that standing double crochet that I showed you, and then I just started working around, work the corner, work around another side, and then work almost all the way around the third side. So for this block, we worked a border around almost all 3 sides, just till you get to the corner. That's my stitch marker. Now I'm going to join this one to the bottom of block number 2. So this is block number 3, and I'm going to join it right here at the corner. Like this. So we have to start at the outside corner, work our way in, and then join there. So the corner is going to be, start with the 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to chain 1. And we're going into the outer corner. So take that loop off your hook, go in from front to back, and pull it through. Now because it's a corner, we do another chain, and then you just finish off that corner there. So 1, 1, 2, and 3. Now we're just going to do the same thing across. So chain 1, go in from the one we're joining and grab the working square, and then just pull that loop through, and then double crochet, 3 double crochets in the next chain 1 space. So you just work your shell or your granny stitch, whatever you want to call it. Chain 1, go into the next one. So I'd say the key to this is really knowing where to work your corners. So because you have to work partial corner or partial borders, not corners, borders. You have to work partial borders. So you have to just be strategic about where you put those. So chain 1. And if you're doing a pattern that's a join as you go pattern, they will tell you very specifically in the instructions which block to join and where and how many borders you have to make. So it'll all be in your pattern. This isn't something you're going to have to sort of figure out on your own. But if you're doing what I am doing, which is taking an existing pattern that calls for sewing the sides together and trying to join them as you go, then you will have to sort of figure it out on your own. Okay, so see how I'm at the corner here. So now here you can choose too. You can join it in this corner to square 2, or you can join it across to square 1. You can do however you think looks best. So let's try, but first we have to work the first part of the corner. So we're going to do the 1, 2, 3 double crochets. I'm going to chain 1, drop the loop, and then I'm going to grab this corner. So like I said, you can go in here, you can go in here, wherever you think looks good. Go in from top to bottom, put that loop back on my hook, and pull it through there. And then finish off the corner. 1, 2, I didn't leave myself enough yarn here, but let's just say we did the corner. So that would be the end of the corner, and then you would just join here. And I didn't really leave enough yarn, so it's going to be kind of a pitiful join, but you can see my corners are all joined right in the center, like that. And then that would join to there. So now we've joined the second one to the first one, and then we joined the third one to the second one. And as you can see, it's a really pretty join. I think it looks really pretty. You don't have any, any seaming at all there. And now we're going to join the last one to here, so number 4. So now, as you can see, I started. Got to remember how this goes. So this border's done, and this border's done. So I left these borders for round number 5, I left them unfinished. So that way we can join. So I only did from the bottom. So I'm sorry, I started here with the standing double crochet, and then I did around the bottom, and then I'm going to join, 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 join. So that's our third. It's like putting a puzzle together almost. So start there, work around, and now I'm just going to show you where I join. So just move your little block around like this. We start with the corner. So you do half the corner, and then you do the other half with the join. So 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, drop the loop, and now I'm going to come into this corner from top to bottom. Grab that loop, chain 1 again because it's a corner, and finish my corner. So 1, 2, and 3. Now we're just going to repeat that across. So chain 1, drop the loop, go into the next chain 1 space, and from top to bottom, pull that through the top and work your shell. 1, 2, 3, and this is not the only way you can do join as you go. You can do it with single crochets, you can do it with picots, you can do it with just chains where you're joining chains. There are many, many different ways you can do this. This is a very basic granny square, so I wanted to show you this sort of very basic way. But the sky's the limit with this. You can do it with almost anything. And it's great for if you want to just join corners, like if you have triangles and you want to join all of the corners. It's good if you have straight edges, diagonals, whatever kind of motifs you have, you can join it this way. So you can do many, many different things. Lacy, it's particularly nice with lacy pieces. So I took my loop off, went in from top to bottom, and then pull that loop through, and then work the next 3 double crochets, and now I've reached my corner again. So I'm going to chain 1, do the first part of my corner. 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm going to chain 1, grab that loop so I don't lose it. Okay, so now I can do the same thing. I can choose which corner I want to go into. I can go into this one, or I can go into this one. And I'm going to choose this one because I lost some yarn here. So It'll probably hold on better if I go through here. Or you can go diagonally across this one, but that one might not be as good because you'll have to go over. It might create a bump. So it's probably good to go right in here. But you can choose. So go in from top to bottom, grab that loop, pull it through, and then do another chain because we're doing the corner. And complete your, oh, I missed this guy right here, but probably because I lost the yarn, so don't miss this guy, but you get the idea. Finish the corner, 1, 2, and 3. And then we do the same exact process across the top. So let me just do a couple more in case you missed the beginning. So chain 1, take the loop off, go in from top to bottom of the one you're joining it to, and then pull it through there, and then just go right into your next shell. 1, 2, 3. And try to just keep your tension the same throughout. Don't try to make it too tight, but don't try to make it really loose either. Just try to keep the same tension that you've been working, so that way you won't get any sort of bumps or loose, loose joins. That's 3. Chain 1, take that off of there. And then you just repeat that all the way across. And I'm going to show you my sample too so you can see how we've joined everything. And it's really simple, and I think it's quicker than seaming. Like I said, you do have to sort of think about which way you're going and how much border you're going to work, but it's going to be quicker than actually seaming with a needle. And especially if you're doing more lacy joins, it's going to be really quick. So I did the start of my corner, and then I took the hook off that loop. I'm going to go into my corner from top to bottom, pull that through, chain 1, and finish my corner. With 3 double crochets into the chain 2 space. And then I just do my last chain 1, join to the beginning, which is right there. You can join with a slip stitch, or normally, you would do an invisible join with your needle to join that and keep it nice and from falling apart. And that's my last one. So I've joined all 4 of these, and let me show you my sample that I did, because I actually joined 6 to this one. So you can just keep going with this. So I showed you how to do 4, but you can just keep going and join as many as you want. So see how I did 6 here. And it looks nice and neat. That's what the corners look like. This corner looks a little better than that corner, so I probably chose a different corner to go into. But see, as you can see, it looks really pretty. And it's not, it's got a little bit of some lace in there, but that's kind of what we want for this granny. It's supposed to have these holes. And then on the back side, looks just as good. So let me flip my phone here so I can say goodbye to everybody. Oh, before I go, I want to remind everyone, next week is our monthly block party. So that's where every month we have you choose which block, Afghan block, you want me to demonstrate. And then next week we do that together. So you get the free pattern. You just have to click on the link in the description, and all the info for the block party, it should be in my in the description there. So if you haven't done it yet, you definitely need to try that. Check it out, because we do each step by step together. And you print out the free pattern, and then we just work the whole block together. So please join me next week for that. And I will be here Friday at 12 noon, as always, Eastern Time, on Annie's Facebook page. And thank you very much for joining me. And I will see you next time. Don't forget to vote on the block party. See you then.